Everybody, we have one last amazing guest for you. And where is my friend Curtis? I am going to bring you to the stage, my friend.
All
And this
right.
is just a perfect way to wrap up our day together. Curtis, you've been a guest for us before. And by the way, Curtis is the Chief Strategy Officer of Better. And he has been it's been really fun getting to know this man. We both come from the financial industry, the financial services world. In fact, started at the same company. I like to call it my practice company, uh, minor leagues before I was ready for the majors. And one of the things that I've learned about you, Curtis, is that, first of all, you have incredible integrity with the people that and that know you. And it's one of the things that I love most about the Better platform because, like we talked about earlier in the day, Uber came along and they revolutionized this taxi industry. What did they do? They democratized the driver's license. What Better is doing is they've democratized something that is actually the most valuable thing that we all have, which is the people that we know. We are changed most by the books that we read and the people we meet, in my opinion. And Curtis, you've done a really amazing, your parents must be very proud of the man you are and the people that are in your circle. So I want to just have you start. I actually would love for you to give a little backstory about Better. When it was you were kind of in those first conversations with Jeff
Yeah.
and why it was even started, what was it like when you were first getting going? And then we'll talk a little bit more about what's happening right now too. Super exciting.
Perfect. No, and I appreciate you having me as a guest. It's always enjoyable to first off have any conversations with you, but let alone also get a chance to rub elbows with some of the people that you're working with. So thank you so much for having me on for starters. So I appreciate that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd love to dive into a little bit of the backstory. For anyone who doesn't know, Better is a platform, like she said, you think about it. Anytime I'm in San Francisco. I have three friends. What's the best Thai food restaurant you know of? How many times have you gone and had that conversation? Who do I know in this area? Or who do I know that I value their opinion? And especially someone, perfect example is Lisa, that has spent her entire life building quality relationships where she's not been a taker, but a giver. Someone who they know every time they talk to Lisa, she provides value. And as a result, you've obviously built a lot of emotional capital with the people you know. But to your point, you're in the financial professional space just like I was back in the day. And part of the issue is you might go, okay, well, hey, I know a guy who can do blank. But unless you have, call it per every one of those interactions, an extra 20 to 40 hours to lay out contracts, negotiate terms for a referral agreement, chase up on all the books, chase up on the accounting, and make sure all of that comes through, it can actually be more of a pain in the butt to try and make extra money by adding a second service to what you do than it is to just make a referral and go, you know what, at least I got some goodwill with my client. And that's been the problem. And if you wanna call the reason Better really exists, that would be probably the best avenue with which to look at it. And why did Better get created? Well, just like she was mentioning, I was in the financial services industry back in the day, and actually I worked in the agency of my partner in Better, Jeff Levitan. Jeff started Better. Jeff and I started Better really as a response to a need. Those two needs were this. One, we were in the agency space when it came to financial side, and we would bring in a lot of individuals who were hungry, wanted to get into this space, but maybe weren't flush with cash. So they're sitting there going, okay, I would like to dive into maybe it's the investment space or the insurance space, but I'm going to spend the next 6 months getting licensed, or I'm going to spend the next month getting licensed. And we always ran into this challenge of, well, how can we at least give them some successes or have them help them make some income in that process? And it was such a challenge back then. And we ran into this issue that a lot of companies just don't really encourage it or don't really give you an easy way to add other services to your core focus. And that was one of the reasons. But I'll tell you the other reason. And this was probably the thing that when Jeff and I started talking about it, why it was something that resonated so well with me. I was in the financial services industry for about 6 years. As my main action, I sat down, did financial assessments with clients, and found a lot of clients that had debt. Found a lot of clients that had student loans, had bad health insurance options where they were paying what I now know to be double the amount that they needed to pay. And all of this was a problem emotionally for me that I had no solution for. I I was that perfect example I just laid out. I didn't have an extra 20 to 40 hours to go find another company, do negotiations with them to have some kind of a revenue share and run it through my attorney that I didn't have at the time. And all of these pieces that, fortunately for you, we go through one time. We go through our rigorous due diligence to make sure it's a good company. We have very, very expensive attorneys that we send things to that, goodness, I wish that I could charge that hourly rate. But the point is that we do that and we only have to do it one time. And then everyone who comes into the platform that's looking to add, let's say, student loan forgiveness options for anyone you know that makes, they went through and they're now a doctor. They had a decade of schooling and $1 million that they owe. Well, there are options that you can add to what you're doing to save people money in that area. How about in the area of taxes or accounting? There are there are people who make great money, but then they don't know or don't have the correct setup to make sure that they can lessen the amount that they pay to the IRS legally. The IRS is very transparent. 9 out of 10 business owners overpay in their taxes in terms of you run a business, you're so busy running that business, you don't do necessarily the right things to make sure that you're not overpaying them. And let me just, by a show of hands, because I got enough people with their cameras on, who here has ever gotten a letter from the IRS that said, hey, you paid us too much money and we want to send it back to you? Where would you like that? Would you like us to ACH it? Or would you like us to send you a check? We're so sorry. No hands went. Oh, we have one instance. That's amazing. I've never, in all the times I've used that example, ever had that happen. But that's the point. I've asked that question to hundreds of people, maybe even 1,000 people at this point, and one person has raised their hand. So amazing. But the point is, if you're a professional, whatever industry you're in, you're sitting there going, okay, I would love to be able to add a second sale. Second sales, third sales are the greatest way to double your income. No question, if you're in some kind of a professional industry. But then in addition to that, we've made some recent changes where we've created paid versions of Better. And Better actually it used to be, we did sort of in our intro phase, we wanted to give people an opportunity to see successes, but also we wanted to see what this company really has to offer. And we're now into this next stage where we've turned it into a paid platform where if someone wants to sign up, fine. It's at the low end, $5 a month. So for the cost of a small, like a tall Starbucks, for the cost of a tall Starbucks, not even a grande.
It might just have regular coffee with cream. Maybe you could like from Starbucks. Right.
Yeah. So for the cost of one of those a month, you're going to be able to get access to all of that. But then what we found is, turns out we now started doing these for our pro members who are paying $15 a month. We're doing sales training calls 3 times a week. And turns out people need help on being able to, sales kind of has this dirty connotation attached to it, which is unfortunate for anyone who, doesn't understand it. Even I was trying to get my kids to put down their iPad last night and go to bed. That was selling. I had to use my objection skills with which to convince my children not to scream at me, but to put the iPad down, and that it was 9 o'clock at night. And I get it, it's summer, but you need to go to bed because you're acting crazy. So even that is sales. So we've found that everyone that's in our, call it, referral network needs to have sales skills, let alone in your professional industry. If you're a business owner, if you're a business professional, you need sales skills. And we found that it's something that people actually want our help with. And we've been working with our the members of our paid platform to, hone in their sales skills and do it in a professional way. I'm sure everyone
So,
on here has been on, yeah.
and I want to have you pause for a minute because I was talking with a colleague from my recruiting days yesterday, and we were talking about industries that are up and coming. And, as a recruiter, I always have my supply and demand hat on. I think about, is there a need for what I'm offering? And how is the supply for that need, right? Now, when you think about the skill set of sales, friends, listen up. This is whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, you have young people, you've seen a young person in your life, this skill set can exponentially grow your ability to build wealth in your life. 100%. This skill set alone, imagine if they started offering, sales skills along with financial literacy and entrepreneurship in our schools, right? So just that alone, I mean, oh my gosh, Curtis, whether you're a new graduate, graduating college, trying to get your first sales job, right? How often are you looking for mentorship someone's already gone where you want to go? The mentors in our community, you and Jeff, and I mean, Omar is now part of the mentorship group, and Dan, and it's incredible in terms of the value. And I think that there's not enough emphasis on that, on the value that brings. Do you agree?
Oh, it's so true. So true. Yeah. And even to add to that, I had a call with someone who's a specialist on social media advertising. He's going to be doing a 1 hour boot camp with everyone, I think in August. So you'd be shocked at how many business owners that are successful are
Yes.
horrible in terms of their digital presence, or in terms of search engine optimization, or they don't do any advertising, or they don't have a website. So it's things like that where, yeah, we're seeing the fundamentals for a lot of businesses are completely out. No wonder small businesses in a small town can't compete with Amazon. It's no
Right.
wonder they're missing these fundamentals, and they're missing things like, think of it. I guarantee that the reason Amazon pays no tax in a year, which is a terrifying statement, are some of the things that we have on our platform. Because I know for a
Mhm.
fact, for instance, we work with a company on the research and development credit. The number is escaping me right now, but it's something absurd. Like Amazon saves in taxes $500 billion a year because they put it into the research and development credit. So it's things like that. No wonder a small business owner has challenges, because I think some of the wealthy elite, I don't want to use the term like one percenter because it's so cliche, but there are two worlds of business. They're the business owners, or the large corporations that are in the know, and then there's everyone else. Well, with Better,
Mhm.
we are really trying to take some of those solutions that keep those top tier Fortune 500 companies at the top and keep everyone below, and bring some of those down. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's quite useful though, and we're so blessed to have so many great people working with us to build out these solutions, and also introduce them to families and business owners that need this help. So, Lisa, you're the perfect example. The fact that you
And
have me on here with a bunch of people like this is amazing.
yeah, and whether you are, it's interesting because we talk about bringing really Wall Street to Main Street in the financial education space when it comes to all of these tax benefits that, I saw on what was it, the Prosperity Tax website, they had a quote that just astounded me that 26 of the wealthiest billionaires basically paid an effective tax rate of 4.8%. And 93% of small business owners are overpaying on their taxes. I also think we are fortunate because we work with companies in our recruiting practice. There is a very large company that we're working with right now. Every one of you would know them. And they're one of the biggest nonprofit centers for the muscular dystrophy. Anyways, I'm not going to go any further. But anyway, do you know that they still have their financials in Excel? Curtis and I were talking about, how just basics like having a P&L. And I was beating myself up because my husband and I are still very service oriented. The way that we're paid is directly from our providers. So the idea of a P&L, I'm still getting to know that and getting my arms around it too. And my husband and I were in the jacuzzi and he was like, do you know so-and-so they still use Excel? I'm like, Lisa.
And you're like, yes, so do we, honey.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So Curtis, let's talk about, I really think this is important because one of the things that attracted me to Better is, first of all, Jeff's heart and your heart for our next generation. I know that when I saw Jeff, sharing his heart with us when he was still in our financial practice, a big part of it was for him. This is our philanthropic move. This is our 100-year plan. This is how we're going to break what happened on, what was that book, Scott? The Jekyll and Hyde book or whatever.
The creature from Jekyll Island.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's
a book.
Big corporate America, story that we've all bought into, right? This American dream that very few families are living. That's what one of the things that attracted me so much was that you guys, you have such a passion to put more money in the hands of good people so we can do good things and have more financial prosperity. I personally love my laptop lifestyle. I travel everywhere that I want to go, when I want to go there. It doesn't matter as long as I have a laptop and an internet connection. How many families, you think about, Curtis, how many families, their kids are being raised on TikTok. They literally just wait for that one family vacation, maybe every 3 to 4 years. I mean, just talk about like what this platform can do for just the everyday family, right?
Yeah. That's a really good point. And sometimes it's so funny. I think that in my world, I always get caught up on the impact on the client, and that's kind of the part for me that's been the most important. But it's true. Sometimes we don't really necessarily think of like a small business owner who, like you're saying, maybe you have a couple vacations, or TikTok's raising your kids simply because you're working 78 hours a week. So it's true. It's you don't necessarily sometimes think about that. But imagine if you could take your income per client and you could simply double it. And all of a sudden you can then make a decision. Do I increase my lifestyle or do I decrease the amount of work and increase my work-life balance? And I think for people who are, call it obsessed or never, always starving, work-life balance isn't necessarily a thing. But I don't think that that's most people. I think that most people would like to have a great work-life balance. And guess what? It's not about what just the 1% of the most aggressive and most talented and amazing business people. It's not only important what they think. It's actually what's going to make you happy in your life. That's set by a set of metrics that only you can define. So I agree with you. The concept that hey, you might be able to close a greater percentage of your clients by understanding the concepts of sales. And one thing I want to take a note of, and this is something that's very interesting. I've done a lot of study on sales. And the problem that I've run into a lot is I'll read something from some sales trainer and I'll read it and I'll go, wait a second, hold on, what? There's no way he just said that. Let me read that again. And I read it again and I'm like, I would never in a million years say that to someone and expect that I could look at them in the eyes again with any level of self-respect. Some of the sales tactics that people think someone's going to say are more just for shock and awe of the reader. And I think the concept that we're really working on, hey, let's give you some sales training that you would actually be willing to say.
Right.
That alone,
Right.
as a concept, you close, call it 20% more of your clients. And then in addition to that, next thing you know, you add more value to every single client you come across and you're able to make more revenue. Well, just like you said, all of a sudden, maybe you do end off when your kids get home and you get to spend some quality time with them and they're that much less being raised by social media and being raised by you. So
Yeah.
there are these points that are value of life that I don't know that you can really put a price on. Well, you can. It's $5 a month or $15 a month.
Right.
That's the price of joining Better. So I guess you can put a price on it, but it's a pretty darn low price. So yeah, those are some important points. And I know from that training we did, we had this training call yesterday with this tax firm, Prosperity Tax Advisors, and a master's of accountancy in the industry for over 20 years, certified public accountant, started her career in Deloitte. She's a forensic accountant, spent an hour with everyone on that call talking about the basics of accounting and bookkeeping. So you can
this
understand how
Stephanie?
to introduce.
Is this Stephanie?
Yeah, Stephanie spent.
She's
It was.
so brilliant. Yeah.
She's amazing. She is.
Yeah.
She's like my spirit animal. I love that lady. But but she spent all that time because of the relationships we have within Better. Where are you going to get access to someone like that for an hour to train you on the basics and fundamentals of finances, or not even finances, call it accounting, but business finances? Like, why do you need a P&L? Why do you need a balance sheet? Things like that. Most people don't know the answer to that. So it was an amazing recording that we have in there for anyone who's in Better. And I'm really excited about what we're going to do with all of this and what we've already
It's
done.
so
And
awesome.
yeah, it really is.
And,
It really is.
one last thing before you go, like actually two things. One thing that was also really important to me is how there is a real concentrated effort to find companies, first of all, industries that there is a need for what they're doing, industries that are growing, that are profitable for people in that industry, but that are also sort of disruptors in their industry, that are doing things better. No pun intended. That, there is tremendous rigor you guys are putting on to even get on the platform. And why is that important to you?
Yeah, I think we should use Clearwater as a prime example. You're right. We put them through, a pretty rough go, not just to get on the platform, but then once they're on the platform, we don't really let them get away with anything, which I think is important because especially I think everyone on this call would probably agree. The area of healthcare specifically in this country has a bad reputation and it's well deserved. It's not that it has a bad reputation because, company A is slandering company B because they want to take their clients. No, they're all just, they know that it's a cash grab and they are okay with overcharging small businesses. I did a quote the other day for the school my kids go to, and they are set up to save 50%. 50% on their healthcare.
Crazy.
That's not a rounding error. That's like, wait a second. So these two companies are going to offer a similar service. And here's why I say similar. Clearwater has some features in it where if you do use their particular system to find a doctor to do a procedure, let's say, yeah, you can go do it with your doctor of choice. Totally fine. And that's okay. And you have your normal deductible, just like any insurance plan. But if you use their doctor, how about this? We'll just waive your deductible. And you're like, whoa, wait a second. So then you're going to save 50% on your premium, and you're actually going to get a better plan. And to me, you talk about a industry disruptor. There are people at some of these health insurance companies that should go to jail with the way that they frankly take advantage of the American people. And that's we love that we have Clearwater on the platform for that reason. And I feel so lucky that we are working with some of the companies we're working with.
Yeah. I mean, there's tremendous purpose in how you're choosing. The debt crisis in our country is massive. The student loan debt and credit card debt consolidation, with Prosperity Financial, I use that at least once a week in my financial practice. Now, whether people actually pull the trigger on it, that's obviously up to them. We only are here to offer them solutions and ways out, right? That they otherwise would not have found. So one last question before we wrap, Curtis, is what do you see happening for Better in the future? Where are you and Jeff taking us? What should we be excited about that's coming? I mean, there's so much already there, but I know the plans are mighty for this company.
Yes. No, that's a great question. And talk about bringing me to a more reflective place, because there are so many areas where I feel like we will eventually expand to. But I would say if you're looking at the near horizon, if you're looking at what's coming in the next, before call it the end of the year, again, this is a company of our members in part. So we're excited at the end of the year to send out more stock certificates for everyone who's participated in a meaningful way in Better this year. So that's something that I'm very excited about, because how many times have you put your shoulder behind the wheel at work for a job only to, help them see growth and expansion and scale or more profitability because they laid off 20% of the staff? You know what I mean? And you lost your job, but that company's stock went up. Well, we like this concept that we're building something that the reps, the referrers, and the associates that we have within the platform have something meaningful to gain if we do very well based on the work that they put into it. So that's one thing that I think everyone that we talk to is very excited that we're going to keep going with, is adding more ownership based on those who really did some work. So I think that's one thing that's going to be a big notable. And the great thing about that is it only has the value that everyone in Better helps us create. It's not enough for us just to build a platform. People got to find it useful, and companies got to find what we bring to them as well meaningful for their company. So I think that's one thing. Yes, of course, we'll bring on more of the same category of disrupting products and services, but it's always going to be in a way that's easy to market. I think that some of the advanced marketing tools that we've released in recent times will evolve tremendously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll see an expansion of that. So if you know that you want to sit with a client and you have a good intuition that debt is an issue area for them, well, great. I know that some of these companies are going to be building out some of these same tools just for PFN or just for PTA that will help that introduction process become much easier for anyone who knows that person probably is going to be a good client for that company. So those are going to be some major points. Honestly, I think that we're going to find a very interesting situation here where Better's content and some of the industry professionals that we put the Better Pro and even just the basic Better members in front of we're going to put people in front of some industry professionals that you might just for the value alone that you gain from those webinars or trainings, you might double your other business.
Yeah.
You might that's really this core. Better is designed to help small, medium businesses, solopreneurs. You might just be a one-man band that is running your own business and you're doing well, but like you said, you're working 80 hours a week. Well, what if we can make it so you can bring on, another individual? We help you find a way to generate new leads, and all of a sudden you have a reason to hire more staff. Well, you just helped that family that needed a job, that probably has something valuable to bring to the marketplace. But in addition to that, maybe now you can either expand more aggressively, or you can invest some of that quality time back in your family or your faith or whatever giving back method you feel is most important to you.
Yeah.
All of these are some things that I feel Better is going to really grow into this role of just an all-around resource for small to medium-sized business owners. That's going to be really where we go over the next 6 months.
And friends, I personally, I've been part of 2 startups in my blessed career in corporate. One of them put my oldest through college, maybe did about 120 grand with that startup. Another one, I literally traveled the world for, 10 years with the money that I continued to get from stock options and things like that. And I predict this platform already has paid, is due to pay millions to the field. Like, talk about the families that is impacting. I personally helped a client, my former boss that I absolutely loved. He's getting back $1 million to his organization. And I get a generous referral fee of 78 grand just for basically, friends, the skill set. Would you agree that is most needed? I like to call it a professional finger pointer, Curtis. And so many people don't necessarily have that skill set, pointing your finger at people that can help you. But, I'm laughing, but it is a skill set that most people aren't necessarily gifted at. And yet that now the addition of the sales training and things like that, it just keeps getting better. You're right. It just keeps getting better. So do not pass this up, friends. Do not be the person. We want to tell you right now, make sure that you don't look down the road. What did we say a year from now? And watch all of us continue to thrive with Better and regret that you didn't get involved as well. June, you have your hand up. Did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, I wanted to give Curtis some feedback. So I met with somebody to help put some life insurance in place. She's a widow, and she blew through the life insurance her husband had in a year. And she has 2 young kids. She went back to school to become a hairdresser, and she also invested in herself and is a John Maxwell coach. But she couldn't afford life insurance. And so she said, well, I'll come back to you when I can make some money. And I said, well, let me show you something. And so we signed her up for Better. And your new tools of onboarding was so perfect for her, because you ask the people to pick 1 or 2 things and not all of it, because you get overwhelmed. With that short video, she felt equipped she knows she can help her hairstylists that are all in debt. She knows that all of her coaching clients aren't making enough money yet. Mm-hmm. And it can help them make more money, but it can help their clients get their finances in order. So it was like a win-win-win. You guys are doing so much right. I've got goosebumps, because I know you're helping so many people that really don't have a sales hat. They don't think they can sell. But that video helped her to see all I have to do is put a referral in, and the rest is taken care of. She doesn't have to put too much time into learning. She was eager to get started. And then the whole training thing that you have set up was very easy for her to jump in and just get started without my help. Like before,
Wow.
we
I
used to
love
take
that.
people a tour and all that.
Right.
So all the tools you're doing are making our jobs easier to help people help themselves. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
My pleasure. And
Thank you.
June, thank you
Absolutely.
so much for the feedback, by the way. You know, sometimes I think anyone who runs a business knows the amount of people that leave a negative review is usually about 100 times greater than those who leave a positive review. So I couldn't help but
Right.
have like a little internal PTSD when she's like, I want to give you some feedback. And I was like, ugh. So no, it's so meaningful. So thank you so much. And, you know, I hope we just make it, no pun intended, better and better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Curtis, thank you so much for joining us as usual. I'm
My
just
pleasure.
so excited to be in partnership with you, and I just continue to absolutely love to get to know you and your story. And you are doing exactly what God intended for you to do, my friend. I believe
Thank you
that.
so much. And
And
I
I'm so
appreciate you again
excited to
having me
keep
on.
doing it. Yes, absolutely with you. So, friends, we are near the top of the hour. This has been, I think this actually went really fast. This is the first time we've done a 1 day workshop, and we are going to be doing this on occasion. We're going to go back just to give you a sense of what's next. If you're joining us for the first time, many of you are repeat offenders, I like to call you, in our wealth creation tribe. We are on a mission to create a tribe of 7-figure givers. We're doing that by helping others generate more in their own lives so that we can be generous with others. And so, friends, how do you keep going with us? How do you continue to get involved with us? Many of you have already received a call from one of our wealth coaches. This is a complimentary session that we are offering all of you that are joining us for the first time. If you already know our community, you've probably already been through this. But if you want to implement the Kingdom Wealth Formula in your life, protect, earn, and multiply, we want to help you do that. We want to help you thrive by creating a better referral platform for yourself, for your own economy, so that you can generously give as our heart's desires do for us. And with that in mind, I'm gonna pass the baton to June. We love to give our prizes away. Before we do that, I want to remind you there's some free gifts in your portal as well that I want to make sure you know is there for you. We have a copy of one of my favorite books by David McKnight called The Power of Zero. Helps people learn about how they can retire tax-free. I love helping our friends pay less in taxes. I also have a copy of my Audible book, Conversations with an Angel. So make sure you get in there and you get your free gift. So June, I will pass the baton to you. Obviously, we had a lot of people that had to drop off. So we may need a couple of times to get the winner, because you do have to be present to win today. We get to be present to win. So let's put it forward to those that are still here with us. We had a lot of fun genius shared with us today, right? Kelly Gordon. Is Kelly still here? Did I see Kelly? Well, we'll have to reach out to him or her. Say, we missed you. You missed your $100 gift card. I love giving money away. It's super fun. Who's here still? Rita Brown. Is Rita still here? Let's see. Do I see her here? Rita, are you here? Oh, nope. We get to keep going. You snooze, you lose. Oh, Nancy's here, isn't she? Woohoo! Is Nancy still here? Did she have to drop off too? I know she was here. Oh, she is there. Nancy, you're our winner. Congratulations, my dear. Nancy's won a couple of times in our community. Congratulations, Nancy. Hey, for those of you that are local here in California, Southern California, that is, I also wanted to share with you a local event that we're going to do in August. So tomorrow, as you know, I love my laptop lifestyle. Tomorrow I'm going to England, so I'm going to be gone for the next 10 days with my sweet husband. We're going to go see his family. And in August, we're actually not going to be doing an online event, but we are going to be doing an in-person event. I'm really excited about this event that we're hosting because we are going to be gathering at the Total Wine here in Tustin. They have a beautiful venue. We're going to be talking women, wealth, and wine in the kingdom. So if you are local, I would love to have you join us in fellowship. We're going to be teaching you the kingdom framework around entrepreneurship. And we're excited to learn about what your business does, how you are serving your community, and how you can share some tips with you about how you can apply the Kingdom Wealth Formula and the Kingdom Framework to your business. So friends, so happy that you joined us today. It's been such a blessing. Hello, my beautiful friends. These are all, so many of our wealth specialists are here with us today, which are part of our brokerage. And these are the women that are serving you. And by the way, for a couple of you, I always like to leave this at the end. We are looking for the people looking for us. So, if you are looking for a career change, if there is something that we've shared with you today that is calling to your soul, then make sure you also tell your wealth specialist that you'd like to learn more about what we do and how we serve families. So friends, blessings in this amazing life journey. We're so happy to share this time with you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa. It was wonderful.
Thank you for coming, Barb. I love you, honey.
And I love you too.